Hey y'all, I've got a Electron analog keys here, which I really enjoy playing. The only issue I have is that the aftertouch does not really work. Specifically, the aftertouch, it registers very slightly, but it only goes maybe 5% of the total aftertouch range. So I'm going to try and open it up and see if the connector is loose, see if there's anything else obvious that I can do to fix it. I've never done any synthesizer repair before, so figured I would film this in case I need to reference something as I'm putting it back together, in case it's helpful to anyone else. So let's see what happens. First thing we're going to do is flip it. Check out these torque screws we got here. Whole bunch of torque screws. I've got the right bits for them, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to start doing this, but I want to keep those bits and screws from rolling away. So let's make myself a little pouch over here. That'll do. That'll do. I also like to move a little faster, so I'm going to try this drill. Alright, that came out really easy. Keep going here. Be careful if I use the power drill to screw them back in, so I don't want to strip anything out. Don't want to cause any issues. From what I gather from reading some posts online about this process, these smaller torque screws are holding the frame on, and then there are some slightly larger torque screws that are holding the keyboard on. And the person who did a disassembly and shared some information about it recommended that I go ahead and remove all of them. So that's what we're going to do. This stuff right here is what is going to take me to the top of the YouTube charts. Surely there's some kind of specialty channels for people unscrewing things. Is that a specific kind of visual fetish? Probably. It's not satisfying. Alright, and then this is the last. The frame screws. I think I'll go ahead. Let's wiggle it. Let's wiggle it first. Okay. It's feeling, oh, left side is wiggling. Right side is wiggling too. Okay, so we've got something wiggleable here. Since it was recommended to go ahead and unscrew the keyboard as well, I'm going to do that. Slightly larger torque screw. Oh, and they are slightly different screws. how easy or difficult this is to reassemble. My hope is that the keyboard doesn't just kind of flop down here. But I'm relying on the trust of unknown internet person. Online forum expertise. It's like a social experiment that we're performing right now. And I'm out of coffee. All right. There's definitely looseness happening there. Let's see what happens if I start to take this off. Got a bit. There's a bit. There was a comment about this frame potentially getting stuck on the inside. There's a PCB mounted to the bottom of this that can stick on one of the screw brackets on the inside. So as I'm lifting this up, I'm just going to be really gentle. It's sticking up at the top. I'm not totally sure why. I'm going to be real gentle about it. Looking, oh, I see right here. Yeah. There's a PCB right here that's about to hit this bracket, and I'm gonna have to kind of shift it up and out from this side first. Got the switch there, we got the board. Okay, looks like I can lift and kind of slide it towards me. Aha, I needed to slide it towards me to disconnect some of these power connectors. Oh boy. Okay, wire's connecting there, so I'm gonna have to disconnect this. I see something is catching on that side, but nothing is catching on this side, so I should be able to lift and slide it this way. Haha. Alright. There are some wires connected here. In order to do this, I'm going to need to let's see, how do I do this? This connection's soldered. I guess, yeah, there's a connector there, so I can slide that out. Ooh-wee. Okay, this is going to take a little work. Okay, let's gently set this down. See if I can get, I think it's just going to need to lay on its face up here. Ooh. Making big noise, but just noise. I kind of want something a little softer there. What do I have? A little something? Not too much, easily at hand. I do have some tapestries. Let's lay down a tapestry. Kind of ruffle it so it's soft. That'll just give us a little something for this to sit on, hopefully. Kind of supportive. Okay, keyboard is falling out. That's what you signed up for. So maybe have this on a flat surface so that when you take this off, you can flip it backwards. I think that's what I'm going to need to do to get this all out of here. Okay, these cables, yeah. They're long enough to let me flip it up like this. And then I can pull the power out from that area. Disconnected the power from there. It looks like I need to disconnect this ribbon from here. Ooh, pull it gently. Okay, and then here's a ribbon I need to disconnect from here. Oh, pull it gently, and then we have separated the top from the bottom. Oh, and look at that. I believe this is the aftertouch controller, and that is the spot where it's supposed to plug in, and right now it is totally disconnected. All right, that seems like that will be a easy thing to improve. Something is happening here that looks important. I don't know if I might have broken this keyboard. It's so delicate, and the springs go there. I just see there's this board up here with some very particular connectors, and it looks like something is supposed to go right there, and I just don't know. Oh, those are the LEDs. Those are the LEDs above the keys. They've got little metal contacts here, but it doesn't have anything to do with the keyboard. So that, okay, that's fine. And there's nothing really connecting the keyboard to the top of the case. I think it's only the screws here that go into the bottom of the board. So that will be a fun challenge for the reassembly. But for now, I see this little plug. I see this little port over here, and I'm going to plug that in. Before I do, I guess I'll give you a close-up tour of everything in case that's helpful. Let's just do kind of flyby. All right. So you can see the keys here. They are just kind of loose and floating and disconnected from the bottom board. You can see the aftertouch plug here, which looked like it wasn't connected at all. Up here you can see the ins and outs board. We've got all our ports, MIDI plugs, USB, power plug, power supply area. Maybe this is going to be helpful to somebody. You just never know. There's this board. Yep. I don't know that much about electronics, but looks very clean and well laid out. I see 4 repeating patterns here, which must be the 4 voices of the synthesizer, if I'm guessing. All right, let's see if I can put it back together. All right. First, let's connect this connector here. Ooh, so little and delicate. Everything is so little and delicate. think that'll do it. Okay. You know what? I'm going to take a picture of this joystick module here. I really like the joystick, but my particular joystick has a bit of a dead zone in the middle when you're going back and forth, and I would just love to have something that was a little more tightened up. I'm also honestly seeing some hairs in here, some like cat hairs maybe. And it's making me want to get the vacuum out and clean this up. Other than all that, seems like touch strip and everything looks like it should work. So I'm gonna get the vacuum, clean it up, do a pause on this. All right, we did ourselves a little vacuum. I'm just gonna take a number of pictures here before I close this back up. Alright, now, aftertouch is really secure. Keyboard, it feels really secure. See all these springs here. Alright, how the heck do I line it up so that these screw holes go there? And this, something is going to have to happen here too. Alright, what is it? I don't know. Look at this, there's nothing really that's sitting on anything, but the keys have that indentation, so perhaps they're intended to sit kind of fully up against that, which would give this all plenty of space. Ooh, let's do another little bit more vacuuming. Alright, a little more vacuuming. Now we're ready to put this in. I think my strategy is just to slide the keys up basically as far as I can this way. And there's a little indentation that keeps them in place. And I could use a little bit of folded up towel here to prop them up into a position that would be roughly where they would attach once I flip this thing down. And then I'm going to have to connect the connectors and flip it all. Oh boy. So I think that one was connected like that. That one's connected here. This one was connected here. No, which way was it though? Right. You can plug them in, but they could go either way. So which way did it go? I might need to look at the video and figure that out. This one seems obvious enough. This one seems obvious enough, but let's just check it out. Alright, I think I've confirmed how all of this was attached. So let's see if I can reverse connect it. Sliding right in, no problem. This one. It's hard to get the grip to flip it. Okay. Sliding right in. Power. Sliding right in. Now, remember the ins and out board, really the upper right, this whole area needs to kind of slide into place because of the way the PCB is situated there. So you sort of angle the front down, and then you can lower the middle, and then you can set it in place. Yeah, okay. Then I get this whole thing seated, and then I think I'll be able to position the keyboard so that I can fit so I can bring the screws right up to it. Oh, let's see how this works. Might need to be. Okay, I see. Some of them look like they're lining up. Getting them exactly in line will be a trick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to set it really low on the torque scale and get it just in there enough to hold it, because I don't want to stress anything until all the holes are lined up. So far, so good. And if this returns my precious aftertouch, I'm going to be so happy. I'm going to be so happy I might modulate my pitch with an LFO. I'll be so happy I might increase the cutoff frequency of my low pass filter. Maybe there's a distinct subculture for people who like watching videos of people screwing in screws and making casual bad jokes. Alright, keyboard is going in. Reattaching that keyboard was easier than I thought. Now, 1 billion tiny torque screws. I think I'm gonna do the final tightening by hand on all of this stuff. I don't trust the power of the machine. Too much power. All the little screws. so special. This would be the time in the video where a responsible video editor would fast forward automatically so you don't have to watch me screw in each of these individual screws to get to the finale, but I'm not a professional. And while it does take a long time to screw all these little screws in, it would take a lot longer to package up this synthesizer and send it to the closest Electron shop, which is across the United States in California. Especially just to plug in a ribbon. I'll be so happy if that's what it is. So, what's going on with you? You been having fun? Regardless of all of this work, one of my wish lists for this synthesizer is I wish the joystick had more resistance. I wish the joystick felt a little more substantial in general. I did modify my joystick a bit. I got the Barefoot Buttons guitar pedal topper. I got one of those and clamped it on the end of the joystick, and that's been nice. It's the Barefoot Buttons mini tall boy. And that gives me a little more control area. It gives me something to hold on to here, more so than that little plastic nub. But I do wish it had more resistance. Now, I'm going to plug it in and see if I get some aftertouch response. Alright, well, we've got it powered up. And unfortunately, still not getting any aftertouch. I'm on the aftertouch configuration screen where you can use the level knob to manually preview what the aftertouch would sound like. And it's definitely set up there. I'm just not getting anything. After I restarted it, I went through the calibration mode, and I don't totally understand how that works, but it did say incomplete aftertouch and old aftertouch after I ran that process. So seems like the next step's going to be getting a new keyboard from Electron and seeing if that will help with the issue.